The sun dipped low over Dubai's shimmering skyline, painting the Burj Khalifa in liquid gold. Inside the lavish Armani Hotel ballroom, crystal chandeliers sparkled like stars, guests sipped imported champagne, and cameras flashed endlessly. It was the wedding of the year, or so everyone thought. Ryan Malek stood tall at the altar, a picture of composure in a tailored ivory tuxedo. At 30, he was already one of Dubai's most successful young tech entrepreneurs. Founder of Razzle Technologies, he had built his fortune with quiet ambition and spotless integrity. With his neatly combed hair, calm voice, and sharp eyes, Ryan was admired not just for his success, but for his humility. The tabloids called him Dubai's silent star. Beside him, the bride, Alina Zara, radiated elegance in a custom Zuhair Murad gown. The train trailed behind her like liquid diamonds. A former pageant finalist turned social media influencer, Alina was the epitome of beauty and charm. At 25, she had 500,000 followers, a skincare line endorsement, and enough grace to disarm a room with one glance. To her fans, marrying Ryan seemed like her final fairy tale chapter. To everyone watching, they looked perfect. The hashtags were already trending. Hashtag Alina and Ryan. Hashtag Dubai Royal Wedding. But not everyone in the crowd was celebrating. From the corner table near the entrance, Sanam Malik, Ryan's elder sister, watched the couple with careful eyes. Her smile was tight. Her husband squeezed her hand under the table, sensing her discomfort. "She's beautiful," he whispered. "She's hiding something," Sanaa replied without blinking. It wasn't jealousy. It was instinct. Sanaa had met Alina only 3 times before the engagement, and each time left her with a hollow feeling she couldn't explain. Polite but distant, always guarded, and too perfect, like a performance. But Ryan was in love, and in the Malik family, if the youngest son was happy, everyone played along. The wedding night passed in a blur of luxury. Helicopter shots, designer cake, custom fireworks. News sites ran headlines for days. Ryan and Alina were booked for a 2-week honeymoon at the one-and only resort in the Maldives, then planned to settle in their Palm Jumeirah villa. But behind the closed doors of luxury, cracks began to show. 2 weeks into marriage, Ryan noticed Alina would often step out at odd hours, claiming spa visits, influencer meetings, or girls' nights. She was distant during dinner. Her phone never left her hand. And once, late at night, he walked past the guest room and heard her whispering on the phone, a conversation that ended the moment he knocked. He asked her the next morning, "Who were you talking to?" She smiled sweetly. "My cousin Zoya. She's getting divorced." "It's messy." Ryan didn't push. He wanted to trust her. After all, what could possibly be wrong? They had just married. Their lives were perfect. Or so he tried to believe. What Ryan didn't know was that the past had not stayed buried. Months before meeting Ryan, Alina had been in a quiet, intense relationship with Officer Haider Qureshi, a Dubai police officer stationed in Al Barshah. He was older, 37, with a cold, commanding charm. Their affair was passionate, obsessive, and dangerous. Haider had fallen deeply in love. But when Alina began gaining traction as an influencer, she grew distant. He became possessive. Fights turned violent. She left him, blocked him on everything. Then came Ryan. A new chance. A safer man. A better life. But Haider never let go. He sent her flowers after her engagement, with no name. He showed up once outside her makeup shoot, just to watch. She never told Ryan. She couldn't. And then, just weeks into her marriage, she replied to one of Haider's messages. Out of guilt, or fear, or something darker. That single reply would set off a chain of events no one could stop. One afternoon, Ryan's driver delivered a package meant for Alina. He left it on her dresser, as usual. But the driver had noticed something strange. The label was handwritten, and the return address said nothing. That night, Ryan opened the box. Inside was a silver necklace, simple, unmarked, and a note. "You look the same in white. H." Ryan didn't understand. He thought maybe it was from an old friend. But that night, while Alina was showering, curiosity got the better of him. He opened her phone using Face ID while she was in the other room. And what he saw wasn't just texts. It was months of messages, late night calls, photos, memories, hurt, plans. The last text read, "He suspects something. You promised I'd be safe." Ryan didn't sleep that night. He left for work early. But he didn't go to work. He went to Dubai Police HQ and asked to speak with someone in internal affairs. That conversation was never logged. That day, Ryan told Sanaa everything. And 2 days later, he was found dead in his car near the marina with a single bullet to the head. 2 years before Alina Zara became a social media darling and the new wife of tech millionaire Ryan Malik, she was just another face in the city of gold, a part-time fashion model trying to make it big. Alina worked evenings at an upscale lounge in Jumeirah, the kind of place where Dubai's elite mingled under dim lights and whispered secrets. It was there she met Officer Haider Qureshi. He was older, in his late 30s, with a commanding presence, broad shoulders, neatly groomed beard, a smile that rarely reached his eyes. He wasn't just any police officer. He worked in internal affairs. That gave him a certain untouchable aura. A man who could get information, erase records, and make problems disappear. Alina was drawn in fast. What started as playful flirting quickly turned into long drives, expensive gifts, and whispered promises. He took her to private resorts, promised to pull strings to get her a UAE residency, and even talked about marriage. But behind his charm was control. Haider grew jealous, possessive, territorial. He monitored her Instagram activity, questioned every mail comment, and made unannounced visits to her apartment. When she pushed back, he reminded her, gently at first, that he knew things about her family back home, about her visa status, about people who suddenly went missing in this city. Alina didn't love him. She feared him. So when she met Ryan at a charity gala, handsome, kind, wealthy, she saw a way out. With Ryan, her life could be different. Safe, respected. She ended things with Haider via a cold, final message. "Don't contact me again. It's over." But Haider didn't take no well. He stalked her silently, creating fake profiles, showing up at events she attended. She blocked, avoided, moved homes. But the feeling of being watched never left. Then, just 3 months before her wedding, he called from an unknown number. "You think marrying a rich boy makes you untouchable? I made you. Don't forget who has the power here." Alina didn't tell Ryan. She was too close to the life she had always dreamed of. They married anyway. It was a grand affair. Chandeliers, roses, a custom designer lehenga flown in from Delhi. Paparazzi captured every smile, every kiss, every fake second of happiness. But Haider wasn't done. 2 weeks into her marriage, Alina began receiving messages again, this time more subtle. "You look stunning at the wedding. But your husband doesn't know how you like your coffee. You never said goodbye properly." She was terrified, but she couldn't block him. This time, he used an anonymous texting app. She changed numbers. He got the new one. She deleted her social media. He sent her physical notes through a courier service. Finally, she agreed to meet him at a cafe, just once. To get closure, she wore sunglasses, a shawl, and sat in a private booth. "Why are you doing this?" she asked, hands trembling. Haider leaned in. "Because you belong to me, and if I can't have you..." He didn't finish the sentence. That night, she came home pale, distracted. Ryan noticed, of course. "Is everything okay?" "I'm just tired," she said. "You've been tired every day lately." "It's nothing." Really, but it wasn't nothing. Over the next few weeks, Ryan noticed things. Alina locking her phone, late-night messages, going out without telling him where, whispered phone calls on the balcony. Then one night, while she was in the shower, he did something uncharacteristic. He checked her phone. There were no messages. All had been deleted, except one draft in her notes app, clearly meant to be copy-pasted. "Please stop. You promised you wouldn't contact me again. I'm married now." That was when Ryan knew. Someone from her past had returned, and it wasn't a friend. He didn't confront her immediately. He waited, watched, started noting patterns. He told his sister, Sanaa, he suspected something was wrong. She's hiding something. I just don't know it yet. He began locking his own phone, changed his passwords, installed a dash cam in his car. And just days before his death, Ryan called a friend who worked in private security and asked, "How do you find out if someone is following you in Dubai?" But by then, it was already too late. It was a humid Friday night in Dubai. Quiet streets, the sky a soft gold from distant city lights. In the upscale neighborhood of Emirates Hills, silence usually meant peace. But not tonight. Ryan Malik's body was found slumped in the driver's seat of his black Porsche Cayenne, parked just outside their villa gate. A jogger passing by noticed the hazard lights blinking. The window was cracked open. At first glance, it looked like he had fallen asleep, but the blood told a different story. Dubai police arrived quickly, too quickly, some would say later. Within minutes, the area was sealed. The media wasn't informed yet, but whispers were already spreading among the villa staff and security guards. Detectives confirmed a single gunshot wound to the chest. No sign of forced entry. No robbery. Wallet watch and phone still intact. No witnesses. No CCTV footage in that blind corner near the garden hedge. It was a clean hit, too clean. Alina Zara had been home when it happened, or so she claimed. When officers knocked on her door, she answered wearing a silk robe, her face pale, mascara smudged, as if she'd been crying for hours. "He never came home," she whispered. "I thought he went to the gym. I fell asleep waiting." The officers nodded, asked basic questions. Where she was, who she spoke to, any threats, any enemies, any recent arguments. Alina denied everything. Denied knowing anyone who might hurt Ryan. But her eyes were twitchy. Her hands shook. And when she was asked if Ryan had any problems at work, she said something odd. He had started acting paranoid, like he thought someone was following him. That caught the lead detective's attention. Ryan's phone was taken as evidence. His recent calls, emails, voice notes, all reviewed. One message stood out. It was recorded just a day earlier. A short audio note Ryan had sent his friend in private security. "Something's not right. I'm going to confront her about it tomorrow. If anything happens to me, check her phone." When the police brought this up to Alina, she broke down. "He thought I was cheating on him. But I wasn't. I swear." Then why was he paranoid? Because of someone I used to know. Someone I cut off. When they pressed her further, she finally gave a name, Haider Qureshi. The moment Haider's name was entered into the system, red flags popped up. An officer with internal connections. Suspended 6 months ago under murky circumstances. Rumors of abuse. Connections to blackmail cases. One case, now sealed, involving a female suspect whose charges vanished overnight. Haider was no longer with the force, but he still had friends in high places. When a team was dispatched to his known residence in Dera, he was gone. So was his personal firearm. They checked his border activity. No exit records. They checked surveillance from surrounding gas stations near Emirates Hills. One blurry image showed a man with a cap, matching Haider's build, fueling a black Range Rover with no plates, 20 minutes before Ryan's estimated time of death. Then, the most damning evidence came in. CCTV from a building adjacent to the Malik Villa showed, from a distance, a Range Rover pulling into the street, stopping for less than 4 minutes, then speeding off. It was the exact time of the shooting. Ballistics matched the bullet found in Ryan's chest to a police-issued Glock. The serial number had been scratched off, but the model and ammo type pointed clearly to someone with law enforcement access. Haider Qureshi became the prime suspect. Alina was taken in for further questioning. "Did you ask him to kill your husband?" "No. I told him to stay away. I begged him." "When was the last time you saw him?" "A few weeks before the wedding. And since then, only messages. Threats. I didn't respond." The police didn't believe her fully, but they had no proof of her direct involvement. Yet public opinion turned vicious. Social media erupted. Old modeling photos of Alina were leaked. Conspiracy threads painted her as a gold digger who used one man to escape another, then got both caught in bloodshed. The media ran with the most salacious angle. Millionaire's wife haunted by ex-cop lover. Ends in murder. As the manhunt for Hader Qureshi intensified, one question lingered in everyone's mind. Was Alina just a victim caught between two dangerous men, or was she planning them both all along? The morning after Ryan Malek's murder, Dubai police launched a full-scale investigation. Quiet but relentless. The case had already drawn internal attention, and whispers suggested the involvement of one of their own. Hader Qureshi, the Crime Scene Investigation, CSI. Units swept the area around the Malek villa. No fingerprints. No signs of a break-in. The killer hadn't entered the home. He waited outside, fired once, and left. It was professional. Almost surgical. Detective Sami Badran, a seasoned officer known for his low tolerance for corruption, was brought in to lead the internal task force. If Hader's involved, we need to move fast. He knows our system better than we do. The investigation branched in two directions. Investigators traced every known location tied to Hader Qureshi, an old apartment in Karama, a safe house once used in undercover ops, and even his family's abandoned farm in Al Ain. The Karama apartment revealed something chilling, an old notebook filled with surveillance notes on Ryan Malek. Dates, times, gym visits, business meetings, even notation from 3 months before the wedding. 9:45 p.m., Ryan seen with Alina. Hug, long kiss. She's lying to him. Hader had been stalking them. They also found an email draft, never sent, addressed to Ryan. You think money makes you a man? You stole what was mine. I warned her. Now I'll show you what happens when people don't listen. But still, no hard evidence linking Alina directly to crime. Detective Sami brought Alina in for another round of questioning, this time recorded with legal counsel present. Sami, why didn't you report Hader's threats to us? Alina, he was a cop. Who would believe me? Sami, he was suspended for misconduct. We could have helped. Alina, softly, I thought if I ignored him, he'd go away. Alina admitted she met Hader when she was 22, during a routine stop at a checkpoint. What started as flirtation spiraled into a toxic relationship. He was obsessive, violent, and manipulated her emotionally. He used to say he owned me, that no man could ever have me but him. When she finally left him, she said he showed up at her workplace weeks later. That's when she decided to quit her job, delete her social media, and eventually met Ryan through mutual friends. Ryan was peace. Hader was chaos. I just wanted a new life. Forensic techs examined Alina's phone, both deleted messages and backup cloud data. That's when they discovered photos from 3 weeks before the murder. A blurry selfie of Alina, taken inside a black Range Rover. A chat thread, partially deleted, showing Hader sending her a voice note. If I can't have you, no one can. The techs also found a recorded call between Ryan and a private investigator he had hired. Ryan, she swears she blocked him, but I keep seeing missed calls from a number she hides under Nadia Laundry. P.I., want me to follow her? Ryan, already did. He's back. These findings painted a clearer picture. Ryan knew Hader was back in the picture. He felt threatened, but he hadn't told Alina how closely he was watching. 5 days after the murder, Hader Qureshi was intercepted near the Hada border, attempting to flee into Oman using fake documents. He was driving a white pickup truck under someone else's name. In the glove compartment, a burner phone, several SIM cards, and a firearm, a Glock 17 with a scratch serial number. Ballistic tests confirmed this was a murder weapon. Hader was arrested without incident. Cold, calm, no resistance. During interrogation, he refused to speak for the first 2 hours. Then he broke his silence. Hader, I warned her. I gave her a chance. She left me like trash and then married that clown. Do you know how that feels? Detective Sami. So you killed him? Hader, shrugging. He took what was mine. I just returned the favor. But when pressed about Alina's involvement, Hader paused. She didn't ask me to do it, but she knew it would happen. That single line changed everything. Alina was brought in once again. The police now had to decide. Was she an innocent woman caught in a violent love triangle? Or was she the puppet master pulling strings from shadows? The case was about to explode in the courtroom. The murder of Ryan Malik gripped Dubai like a storm. A self-made millionaire, killed in his own driveway. A jealous ex-cop caught fleeing the country. And at the center, a beautiful, mysterious widow with secrets. By the time the trial began, the case had become a national obsession. News anchors dissected every detail. Social media dubbed it the love and blood case. Some saw Alina as a victim, a woman stalked by a violent ex. Others called her a femme fatale. She knew. She provoked him. No, she was trapped between two controlling men. It's always the quiet ones you have to watch. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed like flies. Inside, tensions were high. The prosecution focused on premeditation. Haider Qureshi had motive, jealousy, and obsession. He had opportunity, access to a police-issued firearm and tactical knowledge. He had planning, surveillance of Ryan, digital threats, burner phones, and a clear escape route. But the twist? They hinted at Alina's passive involvement. The lead prosecutor, Samira Fahim, addressed the court. She didn't pull the trigger, but she opened the door. She let the monster in. The prosecution argued that Alina maintained secret communication with Haider even after marrying Ryan, withheld threats from authorities, manipulated both men emotionally. She was the match. Haider was the fire. They even revealed a voicemail left on Haider's phone. Alina's voice, trembling. You ruined everything. But maybe that's what you wanted all along. It wasn't confession, but it wasn't clean either. Alina's legal team, led by defense attorney Kareem Vassi, fought back hard. Their angle. Alina was a victim of stalking, control, and emotional abuse. She had blocked Haider. He used fake numbers. She tried to move on. He couldn't let go. She feared the police would protect one of their own, so she stayed silent. Kareem played recordings of therapy sessions Alina attended after breaking up with Haider. She described him as possessive, dangerous, and manipulative. She didn't call for help, Kareem said, because she didn't believe she'd survive it. Photos of bruises from the past were shown. Her journals, her anxiety meds. Everything painted her not as a seductress, but as a survivor. On day 12 of the trial, Haider was called to stand. He looked defiant at first, smug, but when asked under oath about Alina's role, he changed his tone. She didn't ask me to kill him, but she made it clear she wanted out. She was scared of what Ryan would do when he found out about us. So you thought killing him was the only way? I thought I was saving her. The courtroom gasped. Alina broke down in tears. Whether from guilt, fear, or performance, no one could tell. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Haider Qureshi, guilty of first-degree murder, sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. Alina Zara, cleared of direct involvement in the murder. However, charged with obstruction of justice and withholding evidence, sentenced to 2 years probation and mandatory psychiatric counseling. As the courtroom emptied, Alina stood alone. No press conferences. No family by her side. Just silence. In the public's eye, she was free. But her life and reputation would never be the same again. The verdict may have been delivered, but the storm had only just begun. For the world outside that courtroom, the end of the trial opened the door to a new obsession. What would happen to Alina Zara now? After the trial, Alina returned to the villa that once stood for luxury and love, now filled with echoes of tragedy. Every corner whispered his name. The marble staircase where Ryan once kissed her hand. The wine glasses from their anniversary night, still sitting in the sink. His cologne on the bathroom counter, untouched. But the neighborhood had changed. Paparazzi camped outside. Delivery men refused to come past the gate. Neighbors whispered behind drawn curtains. She was no longer Mrs. Ryan Malik. She was the woman who survived the bloodbath. The headlines were relentless. Widow or witch? The curious role of Alina Zara in the Malik murder. She didn't pull the trigger, but did she load the gun? True crime's most beautiful suspect walks free. Documentaries, podcasts, TikToks dissecting her every word and expression flooded the internet. People debated. She's a gold digger. No, she's a trauma survivor. She played them both. Strangers created theories, fan edits, even dark romantic fiction based on her life. Alina couldn't walk through a mall or cafe without glances and gossip. She tried wearing sunglasses, scarves, even changed her hairstyle. Nothing worked. Everywhere I go, I see my face, but not the version I recognize. Her old friends vanished. Her phone barely rang. Her bank accounts, frozen during the investigation, were still under scrutiny. Even Ryan's family contested the will. She received nothing. She sold the villa and moved into a small apartment near Jumeirah, living quietly under a new name. In therapy, Alina began confronting the dark timeline of her life, from haters' manipulation to her silence in Ryan's final days. She wrote unsent letters, one to Hader, begging to know why he didn't just let her go, one to Ryan, apologizing for not warning him sooner, and one to herself titled, "The Girl Who Couldn't Choose." One rainy evening, as she scrolled through old archives, she found a draft email that she never remembered writing. It was addressed to Ryan, dated 2 days before his death. "If I disappear, don't trust Hader. I should have told you earlier, he's not who you think he is." She stared at it for a long time, hands trembling. She had started to warn him, but never press send. Her silence wasn't criminal, but it had consequences. And in the darkest corners of the internet, that one draft became its own conspiracy. As new crimes filled the headlines, people slowly forgot, but Alina never could. In her dreams, she still saw blood on the driveway, still heard the scream, still wondered if things could have been different had she spoken up earlier, or chosen another path long ago. She may have escaped prison, but in the court of guilt, Alina Zara was serving a life sentence. A quiet cafe on a cobblestone street, rain tapping gently on the glass. Alina Zara now goes by the name Mira Khalid. She lives alone in a modest apartment above a bookstore. No luxury cars, no servants, no headlines. She blends in with the crowd. Finally, just another face in the city. Mira works part-time as a translator and volunteers at a shelter for women escaping abuse, a quiet nod to her own haunted past. She keeps no photos from her former life, no wedding portraits. Only one thing remains, a small necklace Ryan had gifted her, hidden in a box under her bed. She opens it sometimes, never wears it, but she can't throw it away either. One evening, while checking an old encrypted email she rarely uses, a single message appears. From unknown, subject, "You think it's over, but it never is." Attached, a blurry image of her from Istanbul, taken that week. Her hands shake. The past is still watching her. Back in Dubai, a new podcast episode titled, "The Ryan Malik Murder. Was Justice Ever Served?" starts trending again. A former detective claims there were inconsistencies in Hader's confession, suggesting someone may have helped him. The online world explodes again. Alina, now Mira, is dragged back into the narrative. But this time, she doesn't respond. She logs out, shuts her laptop, lights a candle, and stares at her reflection. Maybe I was a victim. Maybe I was complicit. Or maybe I was just a woman surrounded by dangerous men who thought they owned me. She closes her eyes, takes a deep breath, and walks into the Istanbul night. Still free, still hunted, still haunted.